I want to know what my eyes look like when I look in the camera. I can't see it, but I'll watch this later. Um, for those of you who are wondering what color eyes I have dark eyes. Nobody has black eyes. My eyes are the color of meat. They are meat colored. They're kind of like dark gray, dark brown with some green, and there's like an orange, and it's weird. They're the color of meat, like ground. Anyways, today is Satan Claus 2025, and I did say, like, God, I don't want my restoration on Satan Claus. Of course, it's not up to me, and if that's what God really wants to do, of course, that's what's going to happen regardless. But if I have a choice, um, this has been something I do not celebrate Satan Claus, and maybe I did a little bit recently as part of a mission. I did not want to celebrate this, and people say Merry Christmas, and then it's like I don't want to cause a scene, and then I'm just saying it back, and I would never do this before. But if God calls me to come to a church, attend this church, then I need to blend in, and I can't just be offending people. If I'm offending people, then it will abort the mission, essentially. So this is like what it says in the Quran, which is where you can like blend in and do some of the customs and things of the people when you're in a warfare. In this case, the church is not the enemy, but we are in a warfare against evil, and we can protect. We can protect groups that are good, and we can help improve them. We can help people in these churches. We can help people in these synagogues and mosques. And so we might need to blend in and do some of the activities they do, even if we don't normally, or we don't really agree with it, for the greater good. And this is not like Machiavellianism, or whatever, cluster B type thing. But I do not celebrate Satan Claus. I do not like Satan Claus. I want to celebrate the biblical holidays. But I don't think it's a sin to celebrate. It's just, there's certain things I reject. Because there is a lot of sin around it. It's easy to get drawn into sin. I will say this church did a good job of not really mentioning Santa Claus. I did not see pictures of Santa Claus. And they might have done gifts, but I didn't really see them. Like, I think they did when I wasn't there, but it was really more about handing out food. Like, they had cinnamon rolls, handing that out to the neighbors, the people that lived around the church. And it was about going to adult homes where you have people with developmental issues and they can't live, like an assisted living facility, and visiting these people and singing for them. And that actually made them very happy. So, although I do not like the occult pagan high holy day of Satan Claus, Christmas, I do like the way that this church celebrated it. Now, not all the beliefs are, 100% accurate. They are a lot closer than most churches, I'd say. Most people don't know the 100% truth. I don't know. There's probably things I'm wrong about, and I know a lot because, I would pray every day, God give me wisdom, and, then you end up isolated by yourself. The more wisdom you get, the less people that you can relate to and agree with. So, anyways, then you're just by yourself. And I already was anyways. I just didn't realize it. But anyways, and this is something the pastor mentioned as well, and this is, see, the dogs they love to make a bunch of noise when I make my videos. This is probably a distraction sent by the kingdom of darkness. Or my dog is just thirsty. What was I even talking about now? Now I've completely forgot. Okay. Go lay down. Stop being loud. Like, they don't have to be 100% right about everything. They're trying, and they're spreading joy. So, no group has to be 100% right. We don't expect that. But it is a commandment to follow these biblical holidays for perpetuity. That means forever. And nobody is celebrating these biblical holidays, but we are celebrating pagan occult holidays. So at the very least, celebrate the biblical holidays with the same vigor as you celebrate, if not more so. But no one does this. But anyways, I'm just going to everything. I'm invited to something, I go. The pastor specifically asked me, they said we would be happy if you would come. And he seems like a good man, and him and his family, they seem like good, kind-hearted people, and they're being very polite to me. So I set my alarm. I tried to be in bed early enough, and actually I woke up too early, so I didn't get hardly enough sleep. I woke up before my alarm. I think there was a curse on the cupcakes. I forgot to mention yesterday there was these cupcakes sitting there. No one else was eating them. No one knew where they came from. And I said, oh, there's cupcakes. Nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted them. And I said, these are probably cursed, but, I ate them I ate two anyways, and then I ate one today. They probably were, because I woke up early and my stomach was upset, but they tasted good at the time. I woke up early and then my stomach was like hurting. And I knew that something was done to these cupcakes, but I ate another one today too because I didn't have any dinner. I just thought, oh well, remove the curses and spells, dedications from this, and yeah, they were still sitting there, which is highly unusual. There's a lot of people in this church, and it's almost like everybody with a spirit knew not to touch these. There was a curse or something on these cupcakes. I was like the only person eating them, I guess. It was like a tray like this, and maybe there was 20 or something in there. And then I ate two last night, and then I went back in this morning, and I had one more. Oh yeah, I had one this morning and two last night. And there still were several left. And I would tell people, like, oh, and then they didn't want it, and they wouldn't eat them. So they were sitting there laying a trap for me, but guess what? I canceled your spells and your curses. It's sitting there in the church where the desserts go. So, yeah, I guess it didn't work too well. Actually, I got less sleep, so yeah, they got me. But it tasted good and it was free. So, there's a couple things I always forget to put in my video. Something that happened the day before. So yesterday was the day before Christmas, and just a couple of things I forgot to mention in my video. So the woman who tried to get me and destroy my assignment at this church by having me answer a question with something that people would not like, and then having the pastor there too watching, and then if he heard me answer this, it would have sounded inappropriate. Well, this woman, right after this meeting, she ran the side of her car into a pole and dented it all in and had yellow scuffs all over it because it was painted yellow. And I actually felt really bad, and I still feel bad. But God knows what I don't know. God knows what the intention was probably to stop me from going to this church. And if this is a mission from God, then she probably has insurance and it will get fixed, but then there'll be a copay. So it will be fixed. It looked like a newer car. It looked pretty new. So this made me sad. But once it's fixed, it won't be too much of a hassle, hopefully. But this is like a warning. It was an instant warning. Because God has me here, and this is too important. So this is a warning. You're not allowed to mess with me. God brought me here. This is the first time people have welcomed me in and seemed that happy that I am there. So that's good, And not all of the theology is correct, but, a lot of it is. And overall, they are doing more good, and they're making people happy, and there was a lot of joy. As I said, there's good people in this church. There's also witches and warlocks in this church. But they have to, we have to mingle somewhat, because otherwise how can we convert them, But anyways, so what happened with this woman's car, and then I saw her the next day, or I saw her yesterday, and I said, oh, how did you get your car fixed? And she said, this is right, this happened right before Christmas Eve, I think the day before Christmas Eve, and then you have New Year's, and, she said they can't do anything until after the New Year's because of the holidays. because of the holidays. Oh, there. So I think this just lets it be a warning for longer. Is normally this could have been in the shop right away and fixed, but it's staying there, so more people are seeing it and witnessing it, and it's like, um, yeah. If this happened another time, then it probably could have been fixed at the very least next day. But because this happened like 2 days before Christmas, and then there's New Year's, then she has to wait like a week or two to get her car fixed. And so more people will see this, and it will be a warning to the kingdom of darkness, is that you don't mess with me. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to harm anybody. I'm not trying to cause trouble for you. And I know you guys got me. You got me. There was pork, and then I ate a couple pieces of pork that was hidden under the cheese. You got me. Maybe that's what it was from. Whoever, I don't know. But, yeah, you got me with that. I repented before the Lord. I did not sin because it was an accident. I opened it up with a fork, and I looked, and it looked like there was chicken in there. But then there was some bacon, like, baked under the cheese on the top piece of bread. So when I opened it, you couldn't see it. It was hidden. And so they got me there. And then the first meeting, only having food with pork on it, they knew I couldn't eat. Oh, you got me there. I didn't have lunch one day. Probably was good because I got kind of fat. I don't know. And, but really, like, maybe I was a little disappointed for like a minute, and then or not even a minute. And then I'm fine. The soup kitchen had plenty of food too, and I think I had some slices of pizza in my freezer from when I was there a couple days ago. So their attempts to get me, like, it's a little disappointing, but it's nothing like that big of a deal, honestly. They can't do that much. I left, I had to walk an extra hour to get my bike because of this was a curse done at the soup kitchen. And then I left my bike again, and then this woman's car gets smashed. So during this meeting, there was two witches trying to get me. And the one, her car was smashed, and the other one, she did the spell on me, so I forgot my bag. And so then when I saw her yesterday, so I saw her the next day, and she's like, oh, hi. She's like, oh, did you get your bag? So maybe she was worried and wanted me to get my bag back, so she didn't get something happening to her car, too. I don't know, because, see, it's not me. I didn't ask for this. I have no control over it. God sees everything, and God knows everything. So God knows what's fair. I don't know. I haven't been here this long. So God is the one that renders judgment. I just show up and I try to be nice, and I'm navigating the little traps. But the car cannot be fixed until after New Year's. So yeah, this is closer to 2 weeks that she'll have to drive it this way. And it's not that this is humiliating. It's that this is a sign. All the people that are working against me, they know this trap was set. Surely they have heard about it. It was an attempt to just burn the bridges at this new church. And God helped me. I prayed to God. God, inspires me. Like, what should I say? What should I not say? It inspires that there was one person in front of me on what to say, what not to say, because I don't lie. So something that's true, but it's a little vague, and then focusing on other things. So it's not inappropriate. Anyways. Then another weird thing is yesterday, when I was biking, normally the cars, like, they'll just run right into you. Like, if you're going across, so there's a main road and you're going on the sidewalk, cars will just run into you. They don't even look. Like, normally people, they got their cell phone, and then they're looking at their phone, and then they just roll forward across the sidewalk, and they don't even look. Like, this happens all the time. And then I'll go up right next to him, and I'll do my little bell. Sometimes they can hear, and I look at him. I'm not being mean. This is not even being a bike Karen, which I have done before. This is just like, because and I ring it, and I look at him. Because I'm trying to let him know, hey, there's people on the sidewalk sometimes. You should look. You should look. Because this isn't being like a Karen. Like, someone could have got killed or run over or, hurt. And so I'd make them aware, like, to pay attention. This is important. So I think that's good. God won't let me die, but I still don't like it. Maybe something would happen and I would get a little hurt. I don't have health insurance. I don't need it. I've got God. God will protect me. But something still might happen that I don't like. My bike could get damaged. I could get hurt a little bit. I don't know. Whatever God allows. So I don't really like it, but I'll do it. And I'm not afraid. I'll do anything, any mission. And that's probably why a lot of crazy stuff happens. So I always say, I'll do any mission for you, Lord, but just, can I be happy while I'm doing the mission? Can some things be fixed? But yeah, cars were actually stopping for me. So like I would go near a crosswalk or something, they would stop in advance. Like they even had room to go, and they were stopping and being polite and letting me go. So I'm not sure this is me. It's probably because it was Christmas Eve and they saw me on the bike, and they wanted to do something good because of the holiday. That's probably it. But that is good then. People, instead of trying to run me over, and this isn't just me, this is probably other cyclists too, okay? But I'm not them, I'm me, and I know. Like, instead of them not looking, and they actually saw, and they would stop and waited, and then I'm like, oh, thank you. I don't say, oh, thank you. When I'm on my bike and I do like this, like, I like kind of like a hello thing, this to me kind of means like thank you or something. One time somebody like yelled and cussed at me. They probably thought I flipped him off. But to me, like somebody stops and then I kind of go like this as I go by, like that. I thought it looked like a wave, but someone thought I was flipping them off, I guess. So that was pretty neat. Not a lot happened today. It was a day of rest that I did not take advantage of. I should have went to sleep again. I did not get enough sleep. So I was invited to this church service. It's at 10:30 in the morning, and they actually like sung some songs, and there was a real short sermon, and then we went and passed them out. I don't know where these rolls came from. I don't know who made them. They might have purchased them, or maybe somebody made them. It could have been I think it was probably a combination, or different people made them. And then they just walked around the neighborhood and were passing them out. And most people were happy. Some didn't come out of their houses. And I say, there are some people, they're probably embarrassed if their house is not in a good shape, or, maybe their clothes, like their outfits aren't nice or something. They're too embarrassed. They don't want to come out. So maybe they don't know this. I have been with a narcissist, so I understand this. There's probably a few people they appreciate it, but they want you to hurry up and go. And then after you're out of sight, they will go and get the rules and enjoy them. But yeah, sometimes people can be embarrassed, especially if one of those people is a narcissist too. Then they have hoarding spirits, and they will trash a place, and they will make it so you don't have clean clothes and you can't get to the door. And so I have a feeling, like looking at some of the houses run down too, there's people, they can be embarrassed, and but they still, like, when the coast is clear, will go out and they will get those rules and appreciate them. So overall, it was good, and some people came out and they were happy. There was one man that came out, and he was real happy with the singing. Like, there was some caroling and the desserts, and his name was Jeff, as I knew someone else with that name. But it's just nice to see. There's a few people that are really happy, and that made them happy, so that was good. This church is good as well because they always have tissues. My nose has been running, and I actually need to put the saline drops in. I only did it once and then I forgot. But it's already a little bit better because I'm not sneezing every 5 minutes. But they have tissues, and so I grab a few every time I walk past. The other places don't have tissues. Not only are there tissues here, but they have napkins in the little kitchen area, and there's paper towels in the bathroom. So I appreciate that. Thank you for not cutting corners there. Maybe one day my sinuses will be clear and I won't need to use 100 tissues a day. It's ridiculous. Of course, it's when I'm not doing well financially, and I'm trying not to buy anything so I don't go further into debt. And then my nose runs all the time. This church has tissues, so I'm going to say that. They they wanted to sing Christmas songs. There's a lot of this church. They do not worship Santa Claus. I don't even think they've mentioned Satan's claws. But they do worship Jesus a lot. And this is something like, it's not the worst thing to do. We can celebrate Jesus' birthday. But we should also celebrate everyone else's birthday too. Because there's a story in the Bible, like the person that comes last. And, they're not behind the person that was there the whole time. So, like, you can repent and you change your life, you turn your life around, then you're equally valuable to the person that never did that sin in the first place. And so, if this is a fundamental belief in Christianity, then there's a lot of contradictions. Jesus never sinned in his life. He was given supernatural strength and power, fortified by the Holy Spirit to never sin, as an example for us to emulate. Now, we live our lives and we are supposed to sin by design. We're supposed to experience this so we can appreciate life without sin. We can know what it's like to have sin, so that way we choose that we don't want it. Otherwise, you have people in heaven, they don't appreciate, you have a third of the angels falling. Because they're like, of course, why don't we get everything? They're unappreciative, they're spoiled. These are common sense things. But that's really the big reason, is we will go through sins. Some of us, we go through sins on purpose as part of our testimony, so we can relate to other people and say, oh, I've been there, I know what this is like. And now I've turned myself around. Some of us, we were forced into these situations. It wasn't even free will. So certain chosen ones were called to do every sin on purpose. And then 20 years later, they meet somebody and then they can tell them something and relate to them and help them change their life. And it would not have that impact if they weren't involved in the same sin. But then once you repent, you change your life, then you live without sin, then you should be right there with Jesus and Jesus' family as his brothers and sisters, as his family. Now, do you worship Jesus? You should not be praising Jesus because he said to worship the one who sent him. But the very least is you could read what he said. And what he said is that we are his brothers and sisters. And he doesn't want anyone to even identify. Like, he would heal people and say, don't tell anybody. Okay, now I'm saying don't tell anyone. I don't know the intonation. I don't know the exact words. But basically he wanted to keep it quiet, not let anyone know. And people would go and say anyways. He did not want to be worshipped. He directed the worship to God. And he wanted us to be his family. That's what he wanted. So, it's kind of hard to feel like you're a family when people bow down and worship you and praise you too much. It's kind of weird. Like, do you really want that? Because he doesn't. That's not what he wants. That's what the devils want. But anyways, we should celebrate everyone's birthday. If we're going to do it, let's do it for everyone. Because we are all important to God. And we can celebrate Jesus' birthday too. And they tried to do this. They really did. And it was not negative. So even though the theology, it's not bad though. But it's not bad. And it made a lot of people happy and it spread joy. So I'd say that is a positive. Sang the songs, just went and passed the things out. Then there was the woman I had met at the soup kitchen. She likes me a lot. And I saw her there again. And this time I saw her husband. And she introduced me. And I did mention real quick, like, just there's little, like, a few seconds of small talk. And I mentioned, like, about the bike. Like, people try to run you off the road. And this is like, well, the bikes are allowed on the road. I'm like, yep. And you're not even allowed on the sidewalk in the downtown. They try to run you off the road anyways. So this was good to hear, like, because I don't know, we might be the same age, but it seems like he's more mature than me, just because I feel like, I still feel kind of like a teenager. It's weird. I'm not, I'm in my 40s, but anyways, he seemed older than me, but he's probably younger than me. But just hearing somebody else, like, oh, bikes are supposed to ride on the road, why would they run you off the road? Hearing that confirmation, that was good, because I actually don't want to make people that are driving cars upset. That's not my intent. Like, when it is appropriate, I prefer the sidewalk. But there's a few downtown areas where you're not supposed to. And then I try to go fast. I'm, like, out of breath. I'm tired, but I'm trying to go fast, not to inconvenience them. They still honk and zip around me in a way that is unsafe. It's like, what, to save 3 seconds or something? Because I go around the roundabout so I don't have to wait at another light. And it's also kind of fun, it's going to say. But I try to go fast there to not make the cars wait long. They don't appreciate this. um, but it was nice to hear someone else say. After this was done, then I was kind of like, I was wearing this because the pastor said it's going to be warm and just wear your hoodie. So then I had this one that was green, and I wore this. But on the bike, like the air goes through it, and it was I was a little cold. But anyways, I start biking back, and I see this woman pushing a cart and going into, like, I stopped by where the other church was. That's only a couple blocks away on the way back home. And she was old, and she was alone, and she had like a walker with stuff loaded in it, and she was pushing it into this like pavilion thing. There's no roof or anything. It's just next to this church. And she said the church gave her permission to be there. But this woman, like, she's older, she's not in a good situation. And God is keeping her alive. She knows that. But there's a lot. This, I guess, was the mission, because there was supposed to be somebody handing out food at the soup kitchen in the parking lot. They said this right before Thanksgiving. But then I didn't hear anything, and then I saw another man who was at the soup kitchen. He's an addict, but he's a good person too, I can tell. That he's a good man, but he is an addict. And then while I was talking to her, he went by on his bike, and then he's alone. He doesn't have any family, and he said he was going to go to the soup kitchen because they're supposed to have a meal. I said, oh, and he said maybe he'd help out. I said, well, I'll be there in a bit, and let him know if I'm there. And so then later I went there. He was sitting there by himself. He was freezing. Something weird was going on. Like, he was alone, didn't have any family. He said he did have a house, though. So why was he sitting there in the parking lot? And I gave him my text number, because I can text on my computer. And, he said he would text me, like, if people met and were handing out food. So either they never did, or he forgot, or was doing drugs. I don't know. Actually, he was on drugs a lot of the time. It still makes his way to the soup kitchen and still talks. So I imagine probably people just didn't do it. The streets were pretty empty. They probably assumed no one else was there, and they just canceled it, would be my guess. But maybe they were there. I don't know. I just didn't eat much. Oh, I gotta show you guys something before I talk about this woman and what has happened to her. Last time at the soup kitchen, I got some of this left here. Look, red Mountain Dew. The narcissist, when we first started dating, we would always drink Mountain Dew. It was his idea. And we would drink these all the time. So, now that God has told me to eat the food of the people, when I had a choice between this and like orange soda or something, I get the Mountain Dew. This is red Mountain Dew, and that's probably why it was donated, because it's red. But actually, it tastes quite good. And they also had, so I think the man there saw me giving out candy, and he saw me, I had like half of a 2-liter I gave out, and so then he decided to give out pop and do chips that evening, probably so that, like, I don't know, so he wouldn't be stood up or something. This is silly. But anyways, I could be wrong. Maybe they just wanted to anyways. But, look at this. And they had chips. And then I saw this color and I thought, is that dill chips or something? Look at this. Is a big bag of chips. I brought this home and I ate it that evening. Zapp's potato chips, New Orleans kettle style Cajun dill gator taters. These were good. I put this empty bag in my fridge to record and place this in my video. These were delicious. I guess they were like pickle flavored, and they're real spicy and salty, and the vinegar and stuff in these. These are yummy. I've never seen these before either. So somebody donated like chips to the soup kitchen, and they normally don't give this stuff out because it's not healthy. But they decided to do it this day, and it's probably has something to do with watching me go in right before and handing a bunch of candy out to a few people. But then they had this as well, and that's okay. They're welcome to do whatever they want, and God bless them. But yeah, this actually tastes pretty good. Maybe it tastes better than the regular Mountain Dew. Yeah. It doesn't really taste like cherry. It's almost like Mountain Dew, but maybe like a little bit of a lollipop flavor, just a little subtle, like a little bit more candy flavor mixed in. Just not a whole bunch. Anyways, I had to show you guys. The soup kitchen gave those out. Now that was not yesterday for lunch. It was the dinner before they gave those out. So then I saw this woman, and then I started to head towards the light, and then I saw her there, and I circled back. And I had gotten some money for Satan Claus from my father, which I probably shouldn't have taken, but like he said, I'd give to all my daughters. That's true, and I always would take that. Are certain things. He gives a certain amount to all of his daughters equally. And so I would take that. It's not anything special just for me. And so, I don't celebrate Christmas. And he said, but I do. And he had the money and gave it to me, and I took it. And I thought, maybe, is this a blessing from God? Because we always did this all these years. He would give me money for Christmas. So I took it, and I didn't really think anything of it, because God knows I'm in debt. I said, maybe God wants me to take it. I didn't get a chance to go to the bank yet, deposit it, and pay some of my debt down, which is what I wanted to do. I still had cash, so I did take a 20 out, and I gave it to this woman. I said, I'm in debt, but and I gave it, and she didn't. She was like, oh no, you don't have to. And then I just, she didn't try hard, but she said, you don't have to. She didn't ask me for any money or anything. And then I gave it to her, and then she took it. She wasn't like no, but she's like, no, you don't have to. And then I held it like the split second, and then she took it. So she didn't want to be greedy, but she was not in a great situation and clearly needed this. Well, she had been totally, and you can tell that she's being honest. She had 3 different types of cancer. She had a walker. When she went to that Thanksgiving meal, she said that her stuff, she tries to hide it, before she goes, but somebody still saw it. And then, she had her, blankets and her, she had all this stuff, somebody had just given her, something like a mattress and spent, $150, so she could be more comfortable. She just stays outside. And, then it was stolen. So she said, she tried to make sure no one saw, but apparently someone did, and they just stole it when she left to get the Thanksgiving meal. It must have been too hard to take all of her stuff because it was quite heavy. And so, this is an old woman with cancer. She's kind of hunched over, and then she had some surgery, not doing well. And this church said she could stay in that little pavilion there. They weren't going to call the police. There's not a bathroom or anything. She said the one problem, they don't have any porta potties anywhere. There's nowhere for people to go. And she did not smell bad or anything. This is not like an addict. She is not an addict. This woman was taken advantage of, and apparently she had a mess at her house and got kicked out of this place she was staying at. And then the homeless shelters, they said there's 2 homeless shelters, and they won't take her. They only take people with addiction, like drug addiction or mental problems. So if you are a normal person that needs help, then you can't go into, and I believe this because this is what I have noticed. And I even told her later, what happens is the devil sends in, people like the addicts. They take up all the resources, and then there's no help for the regular people. And addicts are people too, but I'm saying they have spirits working through them. And the spirits will go, because that's the sorcery of taking the drug. It allows the spirits to possess them. They will be used to target and harass believers. And so they take up all of these resources that good people need, good people that have fallen on hard times. She said she used to donate $50, donate a lot of money to these charities, and now she has found out there's a lot of bad ones. They won't help her at all. She said United Way was bad, Red Cross was bad. They wouldn't help her at all. And then the church that she was at, they said she could stay in the pavilion, and I think they gave her some clothes or something. So that was nice at that church. And there was a couple other churches she said were good. But she was able to say which charities were good, which were bad. A lot of them would not help her at all. This is a woman with 3 kinds of cancer. She has no money. She has no transportation. She has a walker. She's old, and she's alone on the street. The homeless shelter won't take her in because she is not an addict. She is not addicted to drugs. I could clearly see she was telling me the truth. She did not have the spirits that the addicts have. And she seemed like a reasonable person. Now, I'm not saying she made the best decisions, but actually, she apparently, and she didn't tell me this right away. We were talking for a while, and then she tells me she had more than $700,000 stolen. More than $700,000 stolen from her. And just, horrible things like scammers, and then the woman went to jail and they couldn't get her money back or something. And then when she does get out of jail, she'll have to make payments like $10 a month to pay her off. This woman is old. This is ridiculous. This is what they did. So the woman stole this, if what she said is true, and I could tell she believed what she was saying. She was not drinking, and she was not on drugs. She was coherent. She was alone, and she was not in the homeless shelter. She had all her belongings there in her walker. And I saw this, and I felt bad. I'm like, but she actually had a pretty good spirit and was doing well too. It's a weird thing. She was pretty tough. It's like I can't die. God. She believed in God, completely believed in God. Her story was used. She told other people. She said her testimony. She shared with some of the other people. They're like, they don't believe in God. She shared her story. Then they went to church after hearing her story. Basically, she was dead, and going to the morgue. And so she said she was dead for an hour and 7 minutes, which is your 17, and then she was then they found her moving under the blankets before she was buried or something. So she said she was clinically dead, and they said she was dead for an hour and 7 minutes. An hour. This is the dog's making noise again. She said she was dead for an hour and 7 minutes. And then they saw she was moving, and it's like she came back from the dead. And she told people, and then they were going to church after they heard this. So that was my signal that this was a divine meeting. This was meant to happen. And the rest of the day, maybe I could have went back to the soup kitchen. I didn't. I was tired. I should have taken a nap. I didn't. I listened to YouTube videos, and then I drank some pop, and I had some pizza rolls in my freezer for a couple months, and they were partially eaten. I made the rest of my pizza rolls, and then I had a bag with half of the onion rings left, and then I made some onion rings, and then I'm drinking my pop. I didn't go to the soup kitchen parking lot. I didn't feel like it. I should have taken a nap. It's now 12:12. I did not take a nap, but I'm going to go to bed soon. But her situation, my goodness, she said she had more than $700,000 stolen from her. Well, I believe what she said. She came off as truthful, and she did not lead with this. We were talking for 10 minutes before this came up, so she didn't want to tell me this. And probably some people might treat her differently if they heard that, because she doesn't have any money now. Now all of her money is gone, because it was stolen. But then, the police couldn't do anything. They're like, it's done. You can't get it back. Then the woman that stole the money stole it from, 3 or 4 people. So, apparently what she said is the woman that stole her money was a temp working for the bank. She was hired by the bank and working there temporarily for a short period of time. And then she stole, money from 3 or 4 people. And this was, almost 20 years ago. And she stole that money and then was sent to prison. And because she was in prison, doesn't have to make payments. When she gets out, she said she has to start making payments of $10 a month to pay her back more than $700,000. Of course, not adjusted for inflation. It's no, there's got to be something else you can do. And I was telling her about restoration. They probably know exactly where the money is. They probably know how much, and she will be restored because God is restoring us. And, she totally understood, that she needed housing, and she said if she got money back, that she would make a homeless shelter for women. And I said, aren't there homeless shelters here for women? And that's when she said, there's only 2. And, this one, they only take people with, drug addiction or with mental problems. They don't take anyone, an old woman with cancer who can hardly walk. They don't take her in because she's not addicted to drugs. And then the other one, too. And there's not very many spaces available for this. So, yeah, and then she said, we need porta potties. There's no porta potties. There's nowhere to use a bathroom. I mentioned the soup kitchen and how you can get food there, and she said because she has to chew up food and spit it out because she can't eat solid food. She's got cancer. She doesn't go there because she wouldn't want to do that around other people. That's very polite of her to do. And she said she goes back and forth between the library and McDonald's. She goes to the library. She goes to McDonald's. They were closed. It's Christmas. So, So I gave her a $20 bill. I'm not on here bragging. I'm saying this as my testimony. Probably no one will watch this video except for me. I gave her a $20 bill. I am in quite a bit of debt. My home is destroyed. I had a lot of money stolen from me. I had like $35,000 stolen from me, and then additional damages done. I had my car destroyed. I had my first bike destroyed. I had a lot of my stuff stolen. I had my store messed with. There's a lot of other stuff. I can't even remember. I had my plumbing broken. There's a lot. Someone tried to like cause a car accident. I mean, people try. Actually, well, I don't even say. Someone probably was sent to try to kill me, as there was a shooting. It went into the neighbor's house, and then I think that car with the shooter in it pulled into my driveway, probably trying to come into my house. But I happened to be in my van, going downhill with my brights on, so they left. I'm saying they tried to kill me multiple times. So why am I even mentioning this? But anyways, this woman got totally screwed over, and she had some family living in other states, and she had what, like a sister wanted her to live with her, and the rules of the community is she really couldn't live there because of some HOA or something. So if she went, then, but also she was supposed to go to this homeless shelter, had all of her stuff there, and then they turned her away, because she filled out paperwork, and like, well, they didn't submit it. So, like, they got her there, got her to bring her stuff, and, like, oh, okay, we gave it to somebody else now. And I believe her, because I could see she wasn't thinking this stuff up, and she was angry about it. So I could tell that she was telling me the truth. And what I have seen is the addicts get all of the free resources. Like at the soup kitchen, it was all addicts and alcoholics. And, like, I did make a video calling other people in, and now I believe there is an undercover cop there. And they're probably stopping things. Like, I've noticed some crimes going on. Maybe they know more things I don't know about. And possibly they've been looking at some things in the back, too. I don't know. But, I was given the nod, essentially, after I sent my video out. Yeah, this woman knows. The homeless shelters are not for, poor old ladies with 3 types of cancer that had all their money stolen and are homeless. No, it's for drug addicts. They don't care. Oh, she said drug addicts or prostitutes. That's the only ones. That's right. These people need to be in the Trump mental institutions. I made a video about this before, and I think right after I made this video, I started going to the soup kitchen, and I really saw these people need to be in the Trump mental institutions because they are using up all the public resources for people, good people that need help, and they're scaring them away. It's not safe for them. And there's no space left for them because the addicts are coming in like locusts, consuming all of the resources. So Trump mental institutions are for this. So I don't know why they're not going there yet. Maybe because we really need to see. Like, this woman, she said she always donated to charities. And she would give them all this money. And then when she needs help, she said she would donate to them all the time. And then when she needed help and she went there, they couldn't do anything to help her. And I'm like, yeah, I said, I know what you mean. Like, in the situation like that I'm in. And I told her about the charity, and they came to my house all these different times and didn't really fix anything, and then just touched the toilet and touched all my stuff. And I said, they've got one toilet, fixed, but then it leaks into the floor and needs redone anyways. So they just got, like, a lot of my house dirty, and it's pretty much the same. So it's like the charity, and I said, like, a narcissist gets in there, and then they'll say, oh, it's fixed, or, they'll say bad things about this person. And I was like, she knew exactly what I was talking about. So it's what God is putting us in these situations. And so then when we're restored, then I said, like, we're going to make, and we were both talking, we were, like, on the same page here, that if she got money, she would make a homeless shelter for women, not addicts and not prostitutes, for regular women that don't have, like, they turn them away. They don't have a place to go. And also the charities, you know which ones are corrupt. You try to get help there, they don't help you. They make things worse. So then we know which ones are good or bad. She gave me a list of which ones are good or bad. So, like, she said this hospital was helpful. This church she was at, that was helpful. Another church. But the big charity groups were not helpful. But anyways, while I was talking to her, the man biked by. He seems like a young man. Maybe he's like 30 years old, or maybe he's in his 20s. I really can't tell. He looks like a nice guy. Like I can tell, like when he's on the drugs, he's got a look to him. But he still can talk and hold conversation and stuff. But he looks like a nice. He's got the kind eyes, you know. And he biked by, and I'm like, oh hey, he saw me, and I saw him. And then, and I told this woman, I said, he's a nice man. He goes to the soup kitchen. And then that's when I said I would show up. But then when I got there, he was sitting there, like he was really cold, and his teeth were like chattering. I felt bad. I couldn't give him this, though, because I was already cold. I'm on the bike, and we were on the bike with, like, the air goes through this material, so this is not the best jacket. I didn't realize how cold this would be. It seemed warm, like, in the store, but then on the bike, like, the air goes through the fabric. Let's see. But, like, he brought in a dog. He's like, this is my dog. And I said, well, where's your dog? And then he said, somebody else registered it under their name. And, like, do you have a place to stay? And then he did later say he has a house. Something is going on weird there. I don't know what's going on. He's got some issues, but it's the thing, like, I can tell he's a good person. I can see it in his eyes. He's a good person. But he hasn't been able to stop whatever he's taking. And apparently he has a child too, and I don't know what's going on. He's alone for the holidays, but he's not with his child, which makes me think, like, what kind of visitation does he even have? Because he's alone on his bike. You know, and this is a sad situation. What drug addiction does to people, it destroys lives. This man is not like a lot of the other addicts. So a lot of the addicts, they'll just come and they'll try to give me something cursed. They can't really do anything, but they'll try. This guy, though, he's not trying to get me. I haven't seen him try to get me. So they've been sending addicts to try to curse my food or poison my food, or try to go on a date with me. But this man, he seems like he's like an addict, but like a good man. It's weird. I've been going here for more than a month. I have not seen him poison my food. I have not seen him try to go on a date with me. I have not seen him try to give me a cursed item. He actually likes to talk to me and would say hello. He said hello and stuff. So he's not like the others. But hopefully many of them can repent and be saved. And I think maybe like the influence of positive people is helping. But it was interesting to see, I think possibly some of the volunteers, some of the staff at the soup kitchen, they are perpetuating this system. They are keeping good people out. I don't know, maybe they're jealous, maybe they don't want to see like people like me there, so they actually do try to cause trouble to get me out. This is a strange thing. And like when I said, it's possible for a good person to do a bad thing, like possibly be involved in keeping people like me out of the soup kitchen and only keeping addicts in. Why would you want to do that? Maybe, maybe jealousy. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. Because I thought these were good people. But I guess there's such thing as like a vanity, possibly wanting to be seen in a certain way. And I'm not saying greed, but like people I think are good. I've seen help people, they are doing good, but then like there are selfish motives possibly that are driving certain things, or possibly there's more that God just hasn't shown me yet. But possibly by me going there, it's going to set some chain of events. If anything, maybe this one man started to go, and now he's going to take, even if I stop going, then he's going to take care of stuff. He's going to keep an eye on things and be able to stop crimes and things. I don't know. So that would be good to have someone else, because God has a different mission for me. I'm going to go wherever God calls me, but, at some point, I'll probably have enough money that I don't need to go there anymore. And I probably still will sometimes. I probably will. But I won't need to go every day. And so, just going in there, though, hopefully has inspired. I just try to be nice to people. And if they don't get treated nice anywhere else, at least they've seen an example of somebody on their level getting the food. Not the staff, not the volunteers, somebody in there getting the free food with them, and also being polite and handling the situations and being an example of how you behave and stuff. I think this was, because then the man that worked there also meant, like, Christ being an example. The Christ are the saints that have the Holy Spirit, like God's remnant that are filled with the Holy Spirit. So we're an example for the others. The way we try to shine our light and live our lives righteously, and then they can see this and learn how to live. So I think that's good. And also, apparently they had Christmas gifts and stuff, which I missed, and I didn't want to do it anyway. So, but that maybe has to do with the other sermon about, taking things, and, it was never yours in the first place. And then it was mentioned, you get a gift. I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. But, probably the kids liked it more than me. So, it's good. Because this guy said he was always sad around Christmas because people would be greedy, taking everything, and other people would be upset they didn't get something they needed. And then he's like, did you get a gift? And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't, and I didn't really care. So maybe, because if this made him sad, then, at least I said, oh, I didn't get a gift. I don't, the kids would like it more than me. So that was like showing him that somebody, not everybody, is in survival mode. So anyways, I went back home. I gave this man my text number. So if they were having food in the parking lot of the soup kitchen, then I would come back. And then he texted me a few times, and I think he was trying to find out. And then I just didn't hear anything back. So they probably canceled this dinner at the soup kitchen. And if it wasn't canceled, then no one told me. I stayed home. Honestly, I didn't really feel like going out anyways. Not much happened. This video is almost an hour. This jacket was not the best buy. It was not the best buy. I'm going to put my... So, I bought a whole new wardrobe when I moved to this town. This was more than a year ago. So, I was not in debt then. So, that's why certain things, like, it looks like I'm wasting money. I'm not, because I bought a new wardrobe when I moved here, and I still had money left. So I wasn't in debt then. I was not in debt at that point. And so, and I also changed sizes. I needed stuff. And a lot of my clothes was like, I just kept stuff forever, and it was more for younger people. It wasn't really appropriate for me. So I was just getting more normal things that were a little bigger, like more middle-aged people stuff, instead of like, college type clothing, if that makes sense. And so, and like I got a bunch of these Dollar Tree glasses. So then I had, these were from the thrift store too. And then this was from Gabriel Brothers. And I thought it was warm, but it's not. You need a coat over top of this for it to be warm. If you layered this, it would probably be warm. But no, it's not warm. It's my cheap Temu jackets are warmer than this. This was not a good buy. But I'm going to try it underneath another coat, and maybe it'll be good. So I've got a black turtleneck on. This is green plaid here. This is from Gabriel's. And this is red plaid. Oh my gosh. Oh! Oh, okay, look at that. I'm like doing the splits here. Oh. And so, I looked ridiculous. And I also had these. It was quite sunny. It was quite sunny earlier. So this is what, I wore for the, cinnamon roll walk, where they were singing songs again. I don't like to sing, but actually it's kind of fun. Like, it's kind of like a festival from Dollar Tree, but they're red. So I thought, like, I don't celebrate Satan Claus. I don't. But, like, a lot of my brown type coats kind of look like hobo jackets. So I thought, you know what? I've got a red hoodie here. And the pastor just mentioned, and you probably don't need a regular coat. Just wear your hoodie. I'm like, you know what? I got red pants, red pajama pants, and I got a green hoodie, and they're both clean. So I put it on. It's supposed to be almost 50 degrees. No, it was still a little cold. And the woman I saw, who I met at the soup kitchen, who's real nice, she started to get cold towards the end. And she's like, "Are you cold?" And I'm like, "Well, this is warm inside." I was standing at that point, so actually I was fine. But on the bike, I'm cold. And then I said, "Oh, this is warm inside." This has like black Sherpa or something inside, but there's little holes in the fabric, so it is too cold to wear this on a bicycle and be comfortable. And then like I saw that almost all the I thought they were gone, like all the cinnamon rolls were gone, and I'm like, I think they're almost gone, because we had been walking for a while. I was like, I think they're almost gone. So no, it was okay. And then we went down to one more house, and they had two left. They gave them to that, and then someone took the other one, and they saw a guy walking, and they went and ran and gave it to him. And this was great. So then we got to leave really quickly, and because she was really cold, she So my outfit is not warm. So I'm going to show you guys again. These are red plaid. This is a thrift store outfit here. I got these boots at the thrift store when I moved here. So I've been using these on my bike because they have a lot of traction. So I tried to wear like my Ugg boots, and it was kind of slippery on the snow. It wasn't good. I fell over. So then these have good tread on them. I got these at the thrift store. They're not leather. They're like plastic, vinyl, but I like them. And then I got these pajama pants at the thrift store. This is Gabriel Brothers, and this is Temu. I still got a lot of stuff I have to get rid of. I've got like, clothes that was salvaged from the old house. It doesn't even belong to me. I have to get rid of. Doesn't even fit. So, I guess that's it. I'll see on the video how ridiculous I look today, because I put my glasses on. You see how ridiculous I looked like this. And here's a turtleneck too. Okay, that is Christmas 2025.